U.S. Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith. Good morning, ma'am. How are you?
Good morning. We're good here in D.C., Paul. Good to talk to you.
I'm just, you don't hear that often, good here in D.C., because I think most people would want to escape the madness going on right now. There are so many things, and I want to play. Let me just play one of the things I wanted to talk about. And this was on this controversy, and I just tweeted out this one, Senator, that whenever you hear Joe Biden or Psaki or one of those people say, or certainly Nancy Pelosi, this is the fact. You know, they're lying, and this is the fact. When they say that's the fact or these are the facts, it's about a 9 out of 10 chance they're lying about it. But just to give you an idea.
Simply not true that my administration or policies are holding back domestic energy production. The oil and gas industry has millions of acres leased. They have 9,000 permits to drill now. They could be drilling right now, yesterday, last week, last year. Loosening environmental regulations or pulling back clean energy investment won't. Let me expand. Will not lower energy prices for families. But transforming our economy to run on electric vehicles powered by clean energy, with tax credits to help American families winterize their homes and use less energy, that will.
Daddy is so stupid, so dumb, that basically says the things that Trump did will not help lower energy cost. But the thing we've heard this before back during the Obama administration when they had a war on coal.
Well, that is exactly how you spell delusional. I mean, this is just so simple. I think anybody that has had an economics class can figure this out. And, you know, it's like where we are right now. It is because of the Biden's ban on Russian oil and natural gas, you know. Or because, you know, we shut down the pipeline. Mm-hmm. It is the most simple things in the world. And, you know, now he's saying that because this ban is going to cure everything, it's in the right direction. You know, it just does us very little, you know, if we just simply stop doing business with the people we're doing business with. And, you know, the American people, they know exactly what's going on. You know, they pull up to the pump and they look at the price of gasoline. And the simple answer to this huge global energy crisis is it's extremely clear. You know, you just have to maximize the U.S. oil and gas production. You have to open up the pipelines. We have to get back to what we were doing when President Trump was in office, and we were just enjoying so much prosperity because we have the resources. You know, listening to him yesterday when he started his news conference, and he's saying, you know, how much production we have here, it's just unbelievable that they do put the spin on it, that this is not us, that this is not our fault, when, you know, the conclusion is very, very, very clear.
Let me play the rest of this cut here.
That will help.
Is he saying that with a straight face? Are they actually going to try to get away with that? We were already seeing really high energy prices before Russia invaded Ukraine. Imagine that you finance a car, okay? You get a new car, you finance the car, you go through all the paperwork, you're so excited, but they won't give you the keys. That's what's happening here. So they can say, well, what do you mean? You have all, you could go drill tomorrow. And it's like, but I don't have the keys.
You have the lease, but you don't have the permit.
That's exactly right.
That's a very good analogy, because we've heard the same thing about all the lands out there. They could do it if they wanted to do it during, again, the Obama administration. But I mean, that's a bald-faced lie. Number one, that we are pumping more oil now. I think that's what he said, that we are pumping more oil now than we did last year, or then, and I forget what he said. But that is absolutely not true, according to the Energy Department. So it's been capped.
It just doesn't matter. Like I said, this is simple. Anybody can see this. It is very clear what has happened. I mean, day one, we know what happened on day one when he came in and he shut down the pipeline. And, you know, I just always say, what did you think would happen when that happened? But on his first day, you know, he canceled the pipeline. He banned the new leases on federal and offshore drilling, you know, just drastically weakened our nation's spending on the global energy stage. And, you know, adding insult to injury, he gave Putin the green light to construct Nord Stream 2. I mean, how much worse can this get? So It is certainly being returned to him. Paul, they're having to wear it. They're having to own it, and they're having to wear it. And they're trying to dodge that in every way they know how. But it is just, it is so simple that we've got to increase, our production here.
Yeah.
And the sad part is we have the ability to do it.
Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith, it also looks like a perfect storm in many different ways, certainly on the American farmers. You being a former agriculture commissioner in the state of Mississippi, we're getting to breaking ground and planting time, hopefully a little bit sooner than we did last year. But I mean, fertilizer out of the park. How in the heck can some of them even afford gas or diesel? Diesel is used in most of the equipment, and it's just beyond the idea. Can you even make a profit?
Yeah, you're exactly right. And those aren't small tanks. When you fill up a farm truck, we're talking about 120 gallons to fill it up. And you've got to really be making a profit to make that pencil out for you. And, these log trucks going up and down the road, hauling that product, every day they're having to fill up. So they have strictly put us in a complete crisis mode here. And this, it just really, this is going to go on for a while. This is not going to be a, guess what, next Thursday this is going to be over. That's not going to be the case. It is going to go on for a while. It's the sad part. And we just got to buckle down and maneuver through this. And hopefully there's enough stress and enough pressure put on the Biden administration that, they will realize that they have got to do something and start production here again.
It was, and you can tell, here's the word on the streets, and I saw this in bits and pieces in different columns I was reading yesterday and this morning, that the House and Senate, and I saw some of the video on this, the House and Senate came together in a rare bipartisan affirmation that this sanction had to happen. And my understanding was he went to Pelosi, and Pelosi said, no, cut him. We want to cut it. So she didn't placate him. My understanding was he sent Schumer there to try to talk to her. He couldn't do it. So all of a sudden he calls and made some maneuvers for you guys to hold it in the House and Senate, or maybe it was in the Senate. Hold that, because if you do it, I won't get credit for it. And now, is there any truth to that?
You're getting some good information, Paul. You really are getting some good information. The inside baseball is, it's like, let's make sure that we take these steps, and then they just stumble over their own feet. But that is the plan, that Biden gets the credit for this and that he's the savior now. But
and it was pushed. It was pushed into it. Yeah. I want to come back in a moment or two. We got a break here, but there was a tweet I sent out a few moments ago, and man, it was very good. Biden says that he's shutting down the Russian pipeline as a punishment to wreck the Russian economy. Well, wait a minute. If shutting down a pipeline is punishment to wreck the economy, shouldn't be hard to understand why Biden shut down the American pipeline.
Yeah.
This guy, he's bumping into walls. More with Cindy Hyde-Smith coming up next. Just Mississippi. All right, let me get back to Cindy Hyde-Smith, U.S. Senator, and we're talking about a sundry of different things here, but mostly the Russian situation. To counter that 9,000 permits that they have issued, and there are hundreds of thousands of acres. First of all, I don't know if there were 9,000 permits issued. First of all, I think he was wrong on that one. But as Dana has said earlier, you might have the leases, but you don't have the permits, and it's hell to get the permits. And some of those hundreds of thousands of acres have not even been drilled. Some of them are too far to get to. On the spur of the moment, it would take years, sometimes, months, I should say, to get those up and running. And it hasn't been cost effective to do that. And some of them just over most of that land is probably to the point where they can't get to some of it. And more land than that has been taken off the table as far as in the Arctic and some other places. But speak to that as far as all of the leases, and we've heard this before. We got everything out there, and if they really wanted to drill, they could drill.
Absolutely. But, I mean, when you go in and you put a pause on it. You know, when I'm in arguments in the Energy Committee meeting with them stopping the leasing, they said, oh, no, it hadn't been stopped. There's been a pause put on it. Well, a long pause. And we know that, you know, he's been in there a year now. There is no way you can just jumpstart that. You are exactly right. It will take so much time to get there, but they want to make you think that that's a quick fix. That is anything but a quick fix. I mean, they, you know, to get the startup going again, that is not an answer. It is nothing close to an answer, you know, to start that over. And to think that he is only empowering Vladimir Putin. He is helping him. And how much money we have sent over there, now they have the confidence to invade Ukraine. But, you know, they have just seen this president as such a weak president, which he truly is. I mean, you look at Afghanistan, you don't have to, you know, that is so obvious that the debacle that happened there, we're dealing with a very weak president, and they're taking advantage of that in so many situations. Mm-hmm. So, you know, trying to cut the funding, the defense funding, Vladimir Putin knew that we were vulnerable, and he took advantage of that. He took our money to do it. But, you know, he certainly didn't try that in the previous administration because we were viewed upon at that point globally as strength, very strong, having, you know, the means to go in, but one that would go in and would not put up with this nonsense. Let
me ask you this, because there is I would hope so, as far as the Republican delegation or the Republican Party in our country, do we have some way to minimize or stop this outrageous, stupid story of him dealing with the Iran to get that deal back on the table? It just doesn't make sense now as far as nuclear is concerned. Nobody understands this. What's the game plan for the Republican Party on stopping this?
Well, unfortunately, into November, you know, we're pretty limited, but you're right. You know, they continue to, I say, flirt with Iran. And why would you even do that? You know, the dictators that you're doing, why would you even do that? But we're just hoping that, you know, this administration is seeing this for what it is, and they will start making better decisions and maybe start listening until we can get a little more control in November. And I truly believe that that's going to happen. You know, we're looking across the country at these elections and how many Democrats that are saying we cannot take this energy policy, you know, that the hurt that it's putting on all Americans, no matter what, you know, party you're affiliated with, everyone is seeing this for what it is. And right now, you know, Kamala Harris comes in and she breaks the tie vote. She's obviously on her way to Poland right now. Mm-hmm. So Schumer controlling the vote on the floor, there will not be any, you know, votes brought forward until she could be here to be a tie-breaking vote.
Well, but, how would Manchin and Seneca do this? I mean, have you heard from them?
Well, you know, they stood firm with us. They understand. Mm-hmm. Joe Manchin's from West Virginia. You know, you talk about an energy
I understand
state,
that.
You know, he's from West Virginia, and they get this. And no one is opposed to electric cars. No one is opposed to coming up with things that are greener. You just don't do it overnight. You have a plan, but you don't force it on people. And you have that option out there. Their options are out there right now. But to try to just completely flip this energy policy as quickly as they're trying to do it, you know, is totally irresponsible as we're feeling the pain from that now. But nobody objects to that. You've just got to be reasonable. You've got to make those decisions that, yes, it's going to be available, but we have got to depend on our fossil fuels.
Cindy, what did you read into Joe Manchin sitting between Mitt Romney and Roger Wicker for the State of the Union?
Well, you know, I really hadn't had a chance to talk to Joe about that, but you talk about, you know, they are totally ostracizing him. I mean, it is amazing that he doesn't have anywhere to land right now. Mm-hmm. And he, you know, I don't think he's going to switch parties. I hope he surprises me and that he does. but he was just looking for maybe, just not a good friend, but he was looking for somewhere that he would not be attacked at the moment, because the Democrats are really after both of them, and they're just trying to do reasonable things that are right, and they're not dealing with a reasonable party right now.
That's terrible when you have to seek refuge in the other party, and I would think it'd be time to move. There was a story on the New York Post this morning that Russian President Vladimir Putin had won gold in the Ukraine, make Russia great again through a 19th century-style military conquest. He failed in spectacular fashion. And fast forward down the article, it may even be to that all Putin will have done is turn his country into a vassal state of China. Think of a North Korea, giant North Korea, ends up dependent on the Chinese Communist Party. Quite soon, Moscow might need Beijing to buy almost everything, oil, gas, coal, along with grain and timber, process its credit card transactions, supply it with nearly all of its high-end technology, and that's just the beginning. And at the end of this, it says clearly China military is licking its chops, ready to buy, officially or unofficially, any of the Russian advanced weaponry as Putin and his cronies get desperate to ensure the country's ability to keep its arm industry intact. So that's another side of this that Joe Biden will have accomplished for China. Amazing.
Yeah, everybody's watching the different companies that are pulling out of China right now. I mean, out of Russia, and they're not doing business. And, he is destroying his own country. And, we're getting a lot of information of the Russians who don't want this. And he is just, he's a tyrant. That's what he is. He's going forward. And the people that, know him pretty well, that are, giving us feedback, are saying he is just not himself right now. Don't know what's clicked in him, but he is truly destroying his own country by doing this. And you're exactly right. I
want to play this real quick because I don't want to have you go and run out of time before you hear this.
Thus far, we've provided more than $1 billion in security assistance to Ukraine. Shipments of defensive weapons are arriving in Ukraine every day from the United States, and we, the United States, are the ones coordinating the delivery of our allies and partners of similar weapons. I've made it clear that the United States will share in the responsibility of caring for the refugees, so the costs do not fall entirely on the European countries bordering Ukraine. And when I first spoke to this, I said defending freedom is going to cost. It's going to cost us as well in the United States. Republicans and Democrats understand that.
Sounds to me, I'm trying to figure out why we haven't already broached the NATO resolution because when we are okaying, giving the green light to Poland sending maybe some of our stuff and monetary value of money into Ukraine to fight this, how is it not starting a World War III?
Well, of course, that's been the concern all along. But we are working on the 2022 omnibus spending bill, and actually the appropriators worked through the night, the staff, Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. This morning, we're looking. That's what they were telling us. They should have some text, and of course, there will be some funding there for the emergency funding for the Ukraine crisis. And I mean, we're talking billions of dollars that will go across. So, yeah, it is going to cost us to be of assistance to them. Yeah. But, we're just having to increase the defense and non-defense accounts, everything we can to have aid to Ukraine that we could get over there that the administration requested, last
I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for some of the publicity because I'm just sure that Kamala is going to dazzle the people on her trip in Poland and elsewhere. It's probably going to be prophetic. As always, ma'am, it is good talking to you.
Yes. We're bracing for that. Yeah. But, I got a lot of concerns here, working very hard, and just like I said, we're just on a daily basis, we're addressing this.
We're almost out of time.
What we have to deal with.
Will, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Just make sure